So
Yeah.
basically, the Money Jane track was a track that Cardi actually put together, and he had Jully Black already on it.
Yeah.
And we heard the demo version of it because
Yeah.
Cardi's a person that would record like 30 or 40 records and just have them there sitting there
Yeah.
because he had a publishing deal. And I know that he's sitting on like 9 albums that he has not released.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
for a fact he's sitting on 9 albums. Because you know, like when like an artist like Tupac or somebody
Yeah.
passes away and music keeps coming out, you're like,
Yeah.
how is this even
Yeah,
possible?
yeah.
These guys do a lot of songs. So, anyways,
Mm-hmm.
we listened to that demo and I was like, yo, this is pretty good. And then my partner KLC said, yeah, we should have put so and so on this and da 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 da. So I ended up flying to Jamaica, spent a week out there, and hung around with Jeremy Harding, Sean Paul, Sing J, and a whole list of Jamaican reggae. I was just on the scene, like
Yeah.
thrown into the scene, splash. And I was just like, okay, great. And just seeing how these guys have, at the time, they had very little.
Yeah.
And in where I live in Canada, we had so much and we were turning out very little. They
Yeah.
had so little
And doing so
and
much.
they were making like everything epic. Like the sound was epic. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what are you recording on? And it's like a little 8-track digital.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how? You know what I mean? I'm like, what microphone are you using?
Yeah.
Where's the studio booth? These guys just had like a foam over a microphone in some of the studios.
Yeah.
They had big studios, they had small studios or whatever. We went to a big studio to record. But it just inspired me.
Yeah.
Like, it told me that, like, it doesn't matter what you have.
Yeah.
You got to use what you got to get what you want.
Yeah.
So long story short, I was down there with Sean Paul. We ended up rejigging the track, took out a couple verses from Cardi, and put Sean Paul in there. Sat down and said, navigated what, where Sean Paul should jump in, and he had some catchy hooks and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I remember going back to the hotel with my homie Fat Black in the vehicle and listening to the cassette because I think we burnt it on recorded it on a cassette.
Yeah.
And we had it in the car. It was a Honda Civic. And we were just beating through yard, and I'm just like, yo, this is tough. I'm
Yeah.
thinking like this is gonna inspire people.
Yeah.
Like this is gonna be a tune. And I came and brought it back to Canada. And the craziest thing about it is, I brought it to the record company. I was like, this is a single. They're like, well, I don't know if it's gonna work for our Canadian demographic.
Yeah.
Because we're, we at the time,
Yeah.
it was rock and roll music that was getting played on the radio. It wasn't hip hop
Yeah.
or rap or anything really too urban. And if it was a crossover urban, kind of watered down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So ideally, they actually wanted to do a version and remove Sean Paul.
Wow. That's crazy.
And like they're paying for the track, so I did sit down and I did an edit and I removed Sean Paul and we did a remix to it, and it was safer and nice for radio.
Yeah.
But it just didn't feel the same. That version of Money Jane, when it was originally done, it was mixed by Gadget, the
Yeah.
same person that mixes all of Drake's stuff
Yeah.
to this very day. Gadget behind Nelly Furtado.
Yeah.
Like his catalog, he's infamous.
Yeah.
He's taught so many people. He's taught 40. And,
Yeah,
You know what I
all
mean? Like
of it,
he's a teacher.
Yeah.
So he mixed that record, and at the time I was like, this sounds like nothing that's on the radio.
Yeah.
I was even scared because the track was just like, oh my gosh.
The beat was aggressive, but it
was
made
really
you move.
aggressive.
It
I was
made you
like-
move though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when we put it out, like if you're thinking back, the sound was a hip hop sound, but the mix was almost punchy like an EDM.
Yeah.
You know that the same Major Lazer
Yeah.
kind of
It was kind of like ahead of its time.
way.
Yeah.
Gadget was ahead of his time, and that's the version we put out, and I think it was mastered in the States and then sent back to us, and we just started beating the tune.
Yeah.
And the rest is
The
history.
rest is history.
So, but like
Yeah.
the craziest thing is that record there, Kardinal, Jully Black, Sean Paul, Gadget.
Yeah.
Like, all of these guys are legends in their own
Yeah.
right. Gadget is still doing stuff with the Drake records.
Yeah.
Everybody loved Drake records.
Yeah.
Kardinal is, he's putting people out and A&Ring and still a musician
Yeah.
doing big things. Jully Black, that's like my sister, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So like, she was like the female tough love you know what I mean, kind of vibe of the city. Like, you know, she was like the Mary J. Blige
Yeah,
of
yeah,
Toronto,
Toronto,
and she's coming from Finch, and she had that whole Finch vibes. And yo, the track is epic, and
Yeah,
it was
definitely,
legendary.
definitely epic.
I was just blessed to
I was and
connect.
wasn't surprised that Sean Paul said that's what helped him a lot because he said he needed an international record, and via Canada that was possible. I thought it was an interesting part of history. I was like, wow, I knew the record was epic, but I didn't understand, especially for him, how it helped him.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I remember we shot the video downtown Toronto,
Yeah.
Lakeshore, just, I think it's like Sunnyside Pavilion.
Yeah.
I think it might be closed up now, but there's like a fake beach kind of
Yeah.
vibes. We shot it over there, and Sean Paul flew down for that, and we had a lot of the girls that turned into big time video models.
Yeah.
They were there.
Yeah.
Like, they were on set. Like, you could count them out. Like, okay, video, and now they went on to do bigger
Yeah.
things. That was like the start of a lot of people's career.
Yeah.
And I remember Sean Paul being there. I think that was like one of his first kind of introduction to music videos and lip syncing and all that stuff. But he was a good sport about it. Yeah, man, the man helped us get nominated for a Juno.
Yo,
Big
that's
things.
big.